Good afternoon, Judy Allen here, and I'm doing a redo from earlier today. For some reason, the sound wasn't working, and I am not the techie. I somehow managed to push a button that it did work about 15 minutes and 21 seconds into the video. I don't know how I even did that, but I managed. So we're going to do a redo on something I can control till my techie can come find out what's going on, right? Because we have a live tomorrow and Saturday as well. So with that, let me show you some of those door prizes, and then we're going to move on with the items that we're going to create today, all right? So yes, I had to go cut up everything again so I could do it over for you. So let's go down the hands and let me show you what we got in our door prizes. So we've got a variety of things that we're giving away during the door prizes. So we're giving away some bundles that go with, right? Silly Old Bear. You have 2 sets of bundles. You get one for the sentiments and the frames that die cut as well as stamp. And then we also have the animals themselves, right? In addition to that, we also have embossing folder of the 100 Acre Wood. And we also have some ribbon, some beautiful butterflies that finally came in, and some shimmer. So just fun stuff to go along with this as we do it this week. All right, let me move this all aside. Now let's take a look at what we're creating today. So this is what we created today, and this is what we're going to do right now. So I went ahead and recut it all, so we got sound this time because I'm doing it just straight without going into YouTube or anything else. So this is the one we're going to start off with here, and we have a little ink from earlier, right? Have to be able to eat and do other things too. All right, so we're just going to take our card base, which is a new Barely Blush. Very nice, delicate pink. Goes really good with the black and white paper too. If you haven't tried that, you should try it. All right. Then we're just going to put this on here. I know it's pretty back there. That would even almost make a pretty card in itself, right? If you did it like that. But we're doing it like this. Many of the papers are beautiful on both sides. Many. I mean many. This would have been one we could actually fold it over too if we'd wanted to, right? There's a lot of things you can do with something like this. That's pretty. All right. So we're going to put this down. I'm putting it down with glue, and I can move it a little bit, right? Glue allows me the flexibility to move just a little bit if I want to. If I want to squish anything around. And what we're doing here is we're just going to sort these out, right? Because we want to look for height. So this was actually the one I made earlier. And this is the one that, let me see, I guess you're going wrong. This is the one Francine designed. Here's the one I made earlier. I had lifted up Piglet a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I did that. And I just made a few alterations just to get where we are right here. So you can look at both and see what you think of the difference, if you can even notice the difference. You might not unless you're in person, all right, because I elevated Piglet up a little bit so you can see Piglet a little bit better since he's so short. All right, so the best thing to do is we're just going to lay these out. So I just tried to maximize my space, right? Because we got seven character images here to get in here. And you're not really going to see, the only way you see it, right, the tail here is if the tail comes right across the front of owl like there. And then I'll skip this one here. So main thing I did is knowing that this is my space, I just got the ears and everything in up. It could have gone over, right? It's okay if it went over on the rabbit. We'll do that one up a little bit. I don't like to do everything exactly the same. But this here, just give you an idea, right? So get your layout so you can sort of see where everything's going to go. So in like this particular case, if I want Tigger's tail in there, I'm going to have to make a little bit of adjustment there. But I can still get everybody in just fine. Okay, so we see how this laying out. So that's why you just sort of, when you're doing with so many like this is here, lay it out so you can get a good feel for how it's going to look, right? So you can, now's the time to make whatever adjustments you want. So I can actually adjust this over a little bit here. Let's see here. I got 2 examples to look at, right? It's not like I don't have examples. All right, so you can see here. So I just want to make sure I can see Piglet, right? I always felt for Piglet because Piglet's short and I'm fun size. I should say Piglet is fun size. I'm fun size too, so that's important to me. All right, so I think I got everything there. I can get everybody showing one way or the other. All right, so then we're just going to put them down. But the main thing is get it scoped up to get it look how you want it to look. That's the main thing. Now I wasn't worried about Owl getting outside of the frame here, or our Kanga, right? In case you're not up to speed on names. This is Kanga. And the young little kangaroo they have in it is called Roo, right? So the two together make kangaroo. Kanga's the mom, Roo's the little one. All right, so I'm gonna put that right there. We're gonna go and get the rabbit tucked back here. So I just left a little bit of space knowing that I'm gonna put Piglet right in here. And so that's what I did on earlier, is I just put this over. But this time around, I'm gonna let Rabbit's ears go up a little bit there. I'm gonna make sure Piglet's right up here in the spotlight. So what I'm using is, I'm just gonna use a mini dimensional, right? Because the mini dimensional is just a little bit lower than a regular dimensional, but it'll still give height. So I'm gonna put some in here. I like the wish flower too. We like the wish flower. Okay. All right, we get this on here. Yes, I'm trying to do things today without a Band-Aid on my thumb. And see, if I just put Piglet like right up here in between them, we still see the characters, right? And we still get some attention there on Piglet being able to be seen as well. Okay, so then we're going to sit there and definitely put Tigger here. I just put Tigger on a regular dimensional. Right, so I don't know about you, but these characters, right, they bring fond memories back, because I remember my kiddos, except for the youngest, the three boys, they sat up there and, you know, they had their rooms. I had it decorated with Tigger. So we actually have stuffed animals around here that we carried on and held on to for years. All right, now originally didn't have, this is the very original ones. This one, she did, when Francine created this one was not put on dimensionals. I'm going to put it on dimensionals today. I'm going to go ahead and do this one again on dimensionals, just because I can, right? You don't have to, I'm just doing it because I can. But what I did earlier on the other video, that you can't hear sound, is I sat there and I put Eeyore, just the head portion right here. I put the head portion of the body. I put this one on double dimensionals. And then the lower part of the body, I just left it on one. And I do that sometimes, or I just use a dimensional and then just glue the lower part down or something like that. I do that occasionally because the fact is, depending on the layout, I might not want all the bulk. Because like in this one here, I'm going to sit here and do this as a double dimensional. So all we're doing is taking another dimensional. So it's going to give it the height, extra height, right? So it's going to put them a little bit, just the head portion, right, above. We need for our Pooh Bear, all right? So she just has it like this, and that's all I've done. So see how when I do this, I can still keep Eeyore in here. Eeyore's just a little bit, right, a little bit above Pooh, and it sits nicely right there, and it blends all like that. So you see if you can see the dimension all in there right there. Okay? All right, now we're going to stamp this with You Deserve a Little Treat with our new in colors. This is Hydrangea Hue. It's out at the moment, but it'll be in very soon. It's been in and out. It's already, right? Keeps on selling out. So if you see it and you want it, I would tell you to grab it. The refills as well as the ink. I think right now it's just the ink itself. So if you want it, get it. All right, so I'm going to clean this off because we're going to use this in the next one. Same sentiment, but we're going to do something different. And the other thing we're going to do here is we got this. So this is actually the front, and we're going to get this on here. So this is going to be on here with dimensionals. All right? So because it's going to cross over like this right here, I want to be sure to show the bow on Eeyore's tail. We just want to make sure the dimensional, I don't want it to cross over on Eeyore. So I'm just going to make sure I move it over a little bit. So I'm just going to put it right about there, because I don't want to run into Tigger either. Let's see, run into everybody, right? And we can put one on the end right here. Okay, so that's all you got to do. Just look, you just want to watch it, because otherwise it would be sort of funky looking with one side up, one side down on the sentiment tag there, unless that's the way you wanted it. All right? So let's go ahead and we're just going to put our bling on here, which these have been going really well. So it's the butterflies. Glad the butterflies made it back in. We'll see how long they stay in. I used a tool this time. Last time I was like all over the place here. So you just want to make sure to scoop it really good and get that, make sure the adhesive there, sometimes that adhesive doesn't want to come up completely if you don't scoop it right. Yeah, with my short fingernails I was like having issues. Alright, let's just get it over. So these are smaller, right? You got a nice sized one there with a little bit smaller ones here. So I'm putting the bigger one and two smaller ones, just like that. And that is our bling. Alright, so we're moving on to the inside. Let me set this over here a second. I'll set the tool down. So on the inside here, we're going to put it down, and then we're just going to stamp. I didn't stamp a sentiment. All I did was stamp some of the little bees. And I just use the same color. Granted, I haven't seen a blue bee, but there's not to say there isn't one in the world, because goodness knows there's a lot of colorful things in nature, everything from flowers to frogs to birds to fish, right? So there's a little bit of everything out there, whether you know it or not. And hummingbirds come in all amazingly beautiful colors too, if you don't know that. Alright, so I just stamped it, and that'll lighten up a little bit. It lightens up just a little bit once it's stamped, and you give it a moment or two. You put it aside. As you can see here, I'll show you. So you can see here is what I did earlier, and see how the difference is there? Even on the inside. I'm not sure why it does that, but once it dries, it lightens. Just something to know, right? Just in case you're concerned. Nothing to be concerned about. Alright, so I'm going to set these aside. Alright, this is what we're going to make next, is the treat holder. Okay. So the treat holder's fun too, right? I like this because you can easily put anything in here. I mean, I've put, if you like ding dongs, or if somebody likes another kind of cake dessert, I mean, they easily fit in here. And you do other things too. So actually, I'm going to show you that this actually comes, both sides of this paper we have this in here. See, it's the same. So really part of it is deciding what you want on the inside. So the smaller piece is going to be the lower part, and this is going to be the portion that finishes forming the bottom of the treat holder. Okay, I'm going to do it just like this here. Alright, and what I did is I went ahead, I definitely need the top flap, but I don't have to the bottom flap, because that's the bottom that's going to line up with this right here. So it's going to be like that. So this is going to be the bottom of the box. I don't need that. I really just need this portion right here and here. So it's up to you if you want to keep one flap, the bigger flap, or not. I chose to cut mine off. Actually, earlier when I did it, I cut off one side and the other side I didn't. Just so you could see, and right, because it's all about making choices. And I can tell you right now, this, I hope I did this correctly, because I'm not doing this a third round, but you know what, this doesn't look right. This should be an inch. This much I do know. Okay, let's see what we got going here. Okay, for some reason, looky here. Alright, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I am. Let's see if the other side's like, yeah, both sides are like that, so I'm not even sure now at the moment. But you know what? We're going to make it work. Because this is like tape 2, because the sound system, whatever's going on, wasn't working. But you know what? This is something I can deal with and control. So, if you have something like you do right now and you're doing it live, which is always exciting for something like this to happen, So see how this is here? So that's definitely correct, right? So that's where that needs to be. I need just that portion there. But I only have, this is the bottom. So what you get into making boxes is it doesn't matter what kind of box you make, the side seams are going to usually match the bottom. So see here, I have just about 1/4 of an inch. I'm not sure how I managed to do that, but I did. So I'm going to get my ruler just to double check before I go do anything else. So yeah, see how that's just 1/4 of an inch? All right, so this is what I'm going to do, because I already know this needs to be an inch, right? So I'm just going to take this over and I'm going to fold it just like that. Okay? And that way you can see, because I'm just not going to throw this away, right? So you can see it's just maybe a little off if I'm going to do it on this side, but not much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it right to the side here. I'm just going to leave a little bit out there. Oh, wait, let me think about this. No, I got to cut here. I got to cut here. I got to cut here, because this is the part that was extra. I almost messed that up completely. Okay, so I'm going to cut that there. All right, and I got some wiggle room. Okay, and I'm going to come do the same thing on the other side. So if you want to know, some people want to know how I learned this stuff and all. Well, you know, a lot of it's left from sewing, right? So if you ever do any kind of sewing, you know things happen, right? I've done it with the grandkids, helping them learn how to sew, all the grandkids, and even my kiddos, except maybe the oldest two, or 3, maybe the boys. I'm trying to think of the boys. They did have to take sewing at school. They called it life skills when we lived in South Dakota. So, you know, it's sewing, right? You always have to seem to make alterations, or the seam to do right. I mean, you name it, it happens. So a lot of stuff I've learned through sewing and quilting, right? Quilting's another one. That while you try to make everything perfect and straight and even up and all that, just for some reason, sometimes the stuff just doesn't happen the way you think it is supposed to, or the pattern says it's supposed to. So we're going to do the same thing here. All right, we're going to put some adhesive down here and get our bottom on here. So we already checked that, and the bottom's correct. It's the sides. Okay, and you're going to see this in a minute, because that's what's going to matter, right? So like I said, in most times when you make a box, right, the bottom, whatever size it is the same size. And I can show you some totes. In fact, I don't have the tote handy anymore. But the totes are the same way, right? The sides are the same width as the base. All right, so there it is there. So when I come up here, I need to make sure this down there. This looks like it's, I need to make it a little bit more. So you see how it lines up, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this right here. And we're going to see how this right up here goes just like that. Okay? So we want it to be able to square up. Let's see if I can fold that back for you. We want it to square up right here, right? Between the bottom and the side. Okay? So that's pretty much going to give us what we need. So we're going to do that. And I was going to say tear and tape might be easier in this particular case. Normally I use glue, but because I'm looking for my tear and tape. Well, I might not, because I wasn't thinking of using tear and tape, and I'm not seeing it right off the cuff. Put my hands on it. All right, it's okay. Just keep forging on. I'm by myself, so it's even if I wanted somebody to bail me out, they couldn't because they're not here. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead right here and put this here. And we're going to square it up. Okay? For me, with boxes and treat holders like this and so forth and all, we want to square things up. So if in the end something's just a little off and you can trim it with scissors, then that's fine, right? Main thing is when I get through, I want to be able to put whatever I want to put in here. Okay?